All right. Macro to micro, micro to macro. A billion layers of the onion. What perspective do you hold? It doesn't mean it's the truth. It's just one fraction of potential realized in relation. Our awareness is observance. And the observance is a step in a progression. So it's nothing to set your truth upon, although in the heat of the moment it is all we got. Envy, greed. These are children of the polis. Elements of psyche rising through the medium of life in relation, which is us and all systems which we create. The symbiosis of whatever it is we do in this world. That doesn't mean that's the only thing going on, or that it will exist in 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, or that it existed 5,000 years ago. It's just an element of expression and observance. You know, I worked my ass off in life, not as hard as some. I wasn't that trauma bound. Hard enough to know what greed and envy are. Hard enough to know who envies me. Envy is a denial. It's an after effect of false icon. Some people, you know, they come from bitter circumstances, dark pasts. They want to feel the light. They see you hold it and they want it. Why do you get it and they don't? What makes you deserve it? You know it whenever you go into situations or places where people just don't have much, where lack mentality sets lowest common denominator protocols, and they run through blank-minded, zombified people looking for life. And the closest thing they got is a beer and some music to escape the shit show. Otherwise, they're stuck in slave mind, doing what they gotta do to get around, to get along, to survive. So, tyrants. Today's tyrants are yesterday's victims. Today's saviors are tomorrow's martyrs. How do you be here now and all that bullshit? How do you make sense of this world? And a lot of people are proud of their race, their heritage, but they think the fucking culture is what that is. And the culture is the programming. The culture needs to be burned. It's nothing. Mythologies are false. They're slow fading statics, iconic, archonic possession, archetypes. A life of something else. The symbiosis between the matter and something else. You could call it an egregor, you could call it the polis, you could call it progress, you could call it the mind of God, whatever. So how do you break from all that bullshit and be your own myth, be iconic to yourself? Stone Buddha is bullshit. You swim in the fucking ocean of fire and become it, or you fall into the void of potential and lose yourself. Those are the options. Until then, you're divided in relation. Your will carries you on. It's easy to fall into possession. Not very easy to break it. Not that we need to. In time, we naturally will fall into the resonance of a purity of self, unrelated. But in these times, these changing times, the gravity wells of pre-existing circumstances are very powerful. So how do you swim through that? How do you cut through the cult of personality? How do you realize other people's shit, their hang-ups are theirs? You don't need to be a charge for that. You don't need to hold their shadows. The only way to know it is to be in relation to it. Otherwise, you have no language to circumvent any of this possession. To cut away the sickness of the spirit that is not yours. Dynamic thinking, living mind, live mind. It comes from within. You can't break from relation to existence, other people, other circumstances. You can only come into it with the purity of your own unknown. You got to fall into the void of potential. That's where the seeds of all things lay. One day you're a tyrant, the next time you're a victim. There's no virtue in any of that crap. There is no evolution, it's a fucking word for change. There are seasons we are not aware of playing out, happening, songs we will never hear. That doesn't mean that it is all worthless and meaningless, but it means there's a lot more to you than you ever thought there was. A lot more to all of this. So how do you fall into the purity of what that could be and become that? Drop relation to replicated perfection. Allow the demons of the past to die. Starve them out through your conscious awareness. Compassionate yourself. Learn you're more valuable than your circumstances, than other people's bullshit, retarded limitations. Alright, if you want to understand yourself, if you want to grow beyond the fucked up paradigm that we're currently in, and create your own with a language that you can cultivate for yourself. If you want to be a creator, not a consumer, then reach out to me for an advisement call. You might learn a little bit of language for things that you felt but had no words for. My intention is to give people language, perspectives. We are limited by the awareness of others. You share a dream, you share an idea with someone, they can only see it as deeply as they see themselves, so why waste your time with people who are limited? Find someone who is trying to cultivate a limitless potential within themselves, and you will find it within yours. Well, thanks for watching, listening, and being.